This is our midterm review, video number 6. We're beginning on number 63. Question says, write the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line. Remember, slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. A slope-intercept form shows you two things. It shows you a slope, and it shows you an intercept, or more specifically, a y-intercept. So what you need to do is you need to find both of those. You need to find an m value, and you need to find a b value, or a slope and a y-intercept. The slope is probably the easiest thing to find in this equation. Just go to your leftmost point and count how many times you have to go up to get to the next point, and then over. So we're going to go up once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, up 6. And to the right, once, twice. 6 over 2 simplifies 6 divided by 2. Your slope is 3. That's your m value. And again, that's not the answer because we have to write the equation. That's just one of the parts of the answer. The other part of the answer, we'll get rid of this so we can see it a little bit better, is the y-intercept. Our y-intercept is a value right here where it crosses through on your y-axis. That crosses through at -1. So your b value is -1. So we're going to use both of those values to write the equation we need. Y equals, and we're going to skip ourselves a space and then put an x. We're skipping a space because that's where m goes. M's value is 3. So y equals mx is 3x. And then it says plus b plus a -1 we'll put there, which is the same thing as -1. Don't write it as plus a -1 or you get a point taken off. Y equals 3x minus 1 is your slope-intercept form of that equation. Again, slope-intercept form of the equation of the line. This one's going to be a little bit tougher to see because it's not through an integer intersection there. You can see it's kind of in the middle and it looks like it's half, but we'll go ahead and make sure we know enough about this to make sure it's at half. Use the 2 points that they give you, this one and here, and this one, to find what the slope is. Again, slope-intercept form, we need a slope and we need a y-intercept. Okay, so to find that slope, we're going to go down once, twice, 3 times. When you go down 3, that means -3. And we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. So over 10 times. So your slope, there's no number that goes into both 3 and 10 evenly. So your slope value is going to be -3 over 10. That's what we're going to use to write our equation, -3 over 10. I'm going to need all of this space. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this. Okay, in order to write, again, our slope-intercept form, we need ourselves a y-intercept. So what you need to do is you need to find that b value. Again, we can guess that that's 1/2, but it's probably not a good idea to guess. Let's figure it out for sure. Using that form, y equals mx plus b, we're going to plug in what we know in order to find out what we don't know. In this case, we don't know what b is. So what we need to identify one of our points. We'll use this one all the way over here on the right. Its value, if you look at it, starting from the origin, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right 5 times and down 1 time. So it's 5, -1. That's its value, just naming that point. That means remember, it's always x comma y. So that's x and that's y. So we're going to plug in the things we know in order to find out what we don't know. Y's value we just discovered is -1. We're just plugging that in place of y. Equals m's value, we got it a minute ago, -3 over 10. And then x's value, it's times x. We know x's value, we just named that 0.5, plus b. B's the one we're looking for. That's the variable that's left. Okay. At this point, you have -3 over 10, which is a pain in the butt. The easiest way to get rid of that, it says that's the same thing as divide by 10. Easiest way to get rid of divide by 10 is to multiply by 10. So just multiply the entire equation by 10. That means this one, the middle one, and this one over here. And what it's going to do is it's going to get rid of the fraction, make our lives a little bit easier for a minute. 10 times -1 is going to be -10 equals, this says -3 divided by 10, and we're multiplying it by 10. So in essence, we're going to cancel that out. That's going to help us out there. Then you just do -3 times 5, which is -15. And then 10 times b is going to be plus 10b. Notice we got rid of our fractions. We got bigger numbers to deal with now, but there's no more fractions. Okay, then you want to undo your addition and your subtraction first. You have negative 15 adding a 10b. You get rid of the negative 15 part or minus 15 by adding 15. If you do that to the right, you need to do it to the left. Now we have negative 10 plus 15. Opposite signs means you need to subtract the absolute values. 15 minus 10 is going to be 5, and 15 is a larger absolute value. It's positive, so it'll stay as positive. Equals, these two cancel each other out. What we still have left over here is 10b, or 10 times b. Undo that by dividing by 10. If you divide the right by 10, divide the left by 10. That's 5 over 10. We can simplify 5 over 10 because the number 5 goes into both. 5 times 1 is 5, and 5 times 2 is 10. These two cancel each other out and give us b. So we can, 5 divided by 5 cancels out. Just a minute ago, like 10 divided by 10 canceled out. So now what we have is 1 over 2 is equal to b. And that's our b value. If we go back up here where we wrote the other one, 1 over 2. We're going to use both of those to write our equation. Again, you had to do a lot of work to find m and b, but now that you have it, leave y, leave equals, and leave x, and just plug in the two values you got. We have m's value. It's negative 3 over 10. We'll bring it and we'll plug it in where m goes. Negative 3 over 10. And then b's value we just found is 1/2, and it's positive, so it's plus 1/2. So y 1/2. Y equals negative 3 over 10x plus 1/2 is your equation. I know it's written a little bit small right there. Use a slope-intercept form to graph the equation. Y equals 3 over 4x minus 3. Okay, it's already in slope-intercept form, so it's mx plus b. So it made our lives a little bit easier right here. Your m value is 3/4. And your b value, remember to include the sign that goes with it. B is negative 3. I always include that sign to go with it. So in order to graph it, b tells us where to begin. We're going to begin at negative 3. So that's your y-intercept, negative 1, 2, 3, because we know that's our y-axis because it looks like a big capital Y. So our first point's going to go at negative 3. So it's going to go right there. M is our slope, tells us which way to move. Remember, it's rise over run. So you're either going to go up or down by the top number. It's positive. Tells us to go up 3. So 1, 2, 3. And the bottom number, it's either going to tell us to go left or right. It's positive, so it also tells us to go to the right 4 times. So we'll make us a couple more marks. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's where since we're going to go over that many times, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to put our second point there. Once you have 2 points, you can draw a line straight through both of them. And that's your graph. Y equals 3/4 x minus 3. Number 66, find the x and y intercepts. So you want an x-intercept and you want a y-intercept. In order to find both of these, you need to plug in 0 in place of the opposite number. So we have is 2x plus 3y equals negative 18, or 2x plus 3, and since we're looking for our x-intercept, we'll plug in 0 in place of y equals negative 18. Then when we simplify that equation, 2x plus 3 times 0 will be plus 0, which is going to cancel itself out, is equal to negative 18, or 2 times x equals negative 18. Undo that by dividing by 2. Do it on the left side. You got to divide by 2 on the right. 2 divided by 2 cancels out and leaves you with just x. Negative 18 divided by positive 2. Opposite signs is always going to be negative. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So your x-intercept is negative 9. For your y-intercept, you do the same thing, except in place of x, you're going to plug in 0 this time. So plus 3y, and I'll plug that in with another color in a second, equals negative 18. Just rewriting the equation, but since we're looking for the y-intercept in place of x, we'll plug in 0. Anything times 0 cancels itself out because it's like 0 plus 3y. So this is going to go away and just leave us with 3y equals negative 18, or 3 times y. In order to undo 3 times something, you divide by 3. If you divide the left by 3, you have to divide the right by 3. 3 divided by 3 cancels out and leaves you with just y. Negative 18 divided by positive 3. Again, negative divided by positive is always going to be negative. And 18 divided by 3 is 6. So your y-intercept is negative 6. X-intercept's negative 9. Y-intercept, negative 6. Number 67, again, finding the x and y intercept, x-intercept, and your y-intercept. Plugging in 0 in place of the opposite one. Negative 3x plus 9 times 0 will cancel itself out, so it'll cancel out for this one, equals 18. Simplify it, negative 3 times x divided by negative 3. If you do it on the left, do it on the right. Cancel this out. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is x. Positive 18 divided by negative 3, again, opposite signs are always going to be negative, and 18 divided by 3 is 6. So your x-intercept's negative 6. Your y-intercept, on the other hand, you're going to plug in 0 in place of x this time. So negative 3 times 0 would be 0, which would cancel itself out. And you're going to be left with 9y equals 18, or 9 times y. Undo that by dividing by 9. Do it on the left. You got to do it on the right. Cancel out. Y equals 18 divided by 9 is 2. So your x-intercept's negative 6. Your y-intercept is 2. Graph the equation real simple. Your y value, you know that this is your y-axis. So your y value is negative 3. So at negative 1, 2, 3, put yourself a point. Any x value you plug in, it's always going to be negative 3, which means this way, as long as you can go, will be negative 3, and this way, as long as you go, will be negative 3. So you have an equation that is a horizontal line when y is negative 3. There's a good one. Write an equation in point slope form given through here. Okay, this is, remember, you got to do it. It's going to be a little bit backwards for point slope form. Y minus is the last thing we learned last week. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. That's your point slope form. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to leave y. We're going to leave equals. We're going to leave the parentheses with the first x, and we're going to plug in the rest of our values. This is x sub 1, and this is y sub 1. So what we need is we need minus y sub 1 first. So minus y sub 1 is negative 6. Equals m's value. We know this value is m here. So in place of m, we're going to plug in 3/5. And then x sub 1's value is 4. So minus x sub 1's value is 4. Now the only change we have to make for this, since it says y minus a negative 6, that means plus 6. So y plus 6 equals 3/5 times x minus 4. Or think of it backwards. If you look at just the point itself, 4 negative 6 as it's written, think of this as your x sub 1 and your y sub 1, and notice that they're backwards in the equation. This one says negative 6, and it's positive 6. This one says positive 4, and it's minus 4. This is your point slope form. Y plus 6 equals 3/5 times x minus 4. Number 70, we'll do likewise again. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. This is x sub 1. This is y sub 1. We'll plug those values in. Y minus a negative 9 would be y plus 9 equals m's value, which is negative 2, times x minus a positive 10 will be minus 10. Point slope form. Y plus 9 equals negative 2 times x minus 10. Line passes through 1, negative 5 and negative 3, 7. Write an equation in point slope form. We're going to make one more video to get these last few. We're not going to quite make it in 15 minutes. So we'll begin on 71 on the very last one.